Hello everyone. For today we will have the continuation of my discussion on the muscular system, more specifically on the different muscles of the body of the animal. But then before we start with the first part of the muscles of the body, more specifically on the head, no? On the head of the animals, we will have a short discussion about the muscle attachment or some terminologies that usually helpful sa discussion natin later on. I'll just introduce to you, although I have already introduced to you what is tendon. So these tendons are fibrous bands of collagen that usually connect muscles to bones. So ito usually, it is muscles to bones. So sa mga farm animals natin, yung tendons natin, aside from it attaches or it connects muscles to bones, yung mga tendons, usually sila yung responsible sa pag-transmit ng force na na-generate ng muscle contraction sa mga bones. More specifically, nakikita natin ito sa mga movement doon sa limbs ng mga animals natin. Okay? Kaya very important para magkaroon ng efficient tsaka mas stronger na muscle function ng isang katawan ng animal, kailangan well-developed and at the same time strong yung mga tendons nila. Okay? Then we have here another one, we have the aponeurosis. So these are just specialized tendons na associated with flat muscles. So more on sheath-like structures sila na nagpro-provide ng malawak na attachment sa mga muscles para usually kasi sila yung nagdi-distribute ng force over a wider or over a larger na area. Okay? So parang nag-i-stabilize sila and at the same time, sinusuportahan nila yung muscle function doon sa mga farm animals natin. Lalong-lalo na yung mga muscles that usually require specific or precise na control tsaka strength within a specific area. Okay? So that is just aponeurosis. And then we have here another one. We have the origin and then we have the insertion. So usually yung mga muscle attachments natin, they are being classified either origin or insertion. Okay? Yung origin is more and less movable attachment. So typically closer siya sa core body. Yung insertion naman is just more movable attachment. So usually naman dyan located further from the core body. Okay? So if yung kapag nag-contract yung muscle natin, it pulls on yung insertion resulting now ng movement around the joint or doon mismo sa katawan ng animal where it is usually connected. Okay? So sa mga farm animals natin, yung etong origin and insertion, these are very essential lalong-lalo na sa limb at saka body movements. And then we have another one, the muscle belly, or that is what we call as the belly. So it's more thick siya, so makapal na fleshy na central part ng muscle. Okay? So, responsible ito sa pag-generate ng force during contraction. So, sa mga farm animals natin, very essential yung pagiging well-developed itong mga muscle bellies na to, lalong-lalo na sa pag-require, pag nag-require yung animal ng strength tsaka power. Like for example, maintenance ng posture, kumbaga sa mga carabaos natin, pag humihila sila ng anong tawag doon, yung mismong kumbaga yung ginagamit ng mga farmers in terms of paglalagyan ng mga palay, mga ganun, yung hinihila ng carabao, so kailangan niya ng well-developed na belly para magkaroon ng more stronger na power in terms of that specific activity. Okay, and then another one, we have two types of muscles. We have the intrinsic muscles and we have the extrinsic muscles. So yung mga intrinsic muscles natin, these are usually or it lies completely within one region to body where they have their origin and insertion. So etong mga muscles na to, they are responsible in controlling and at the same time in moving yung mga specific body parts within the region they are usually located. Okay? So sa mga muscles na to, usually yung pag-maintain ng body posture, that is the purpose or role of the intrinsic muscle. So yung mga na-circlean dito ng kulay black, that is usually, those are usually the intrinsic muscles. So we have the deltoideus, the long head of the triceps brachii, and then the lateral head of the triceps brachii. Now, for the extrinsic muscles, usually they run from one region of the body to another. So, responsible naman sila sa pag-move or pagko-control ng body parts in a different region from where they usually originate. Okay? So, yung mga extrinsic muscles naman more on yung mga extensive na limb movements. Yun yung ginagawa nila to. Okay, so we have here the cervical trapezius, the thoracic trapezius, the brachiocephalicus, the superficial pectorals, the deep pectorals, the latissimus dorsi, the serratus ventralis cervicis, and then the serratus ventralis thoracis. Okay. Now we have here also some functional groupings ng mga muscles natin. Okay, we have number one, we have the agonists or what we call as the prime movers. So sila yung responsible for producing a specific movement when they usually contract. So they are usually the primary muscles that are usually engaged in an action. So for examples, the biceps brachii is the agonist muscle when flexing the forearm. Parang ganun. Okay? Then in terms of the antagonists naman, they are usually the muscles that work in opposition to the agonist muscles. So they have the opposite action and at the same time they help in controlling the speed and precision of a movement. So for example, yung triceps brachii, although dito is usually the antagonist, eto, we have the triceps brachii pala. So, eto is the antagonist muscle if the biceps brachii flexes the forearm. Okay? So that is an example of the antagonist. And then another one, we have the synergies. So sila naman yung nag-a-assist sa mga agonists in performing a movement. So sila yung tumutulong na mag-stabilize ng joint and mag-provide ng additional supports to the primary action. So for example, in the example of bicep flexion, yung mga synergist muscles, they might include the brachialis, which usually assist the biceps. Okay? Then we have here the fixators, responsible for stabilizing one part of the body to allow movement in another part. So parang they usually ensure that the other muscles can work efficiently by holding the origin of the muscle steady. So for example, is yung mga muscles na nag-stabilize sa scapula pag nag-lift ng object within doon sa arm. Okay? So that is what we call as fixators. We have here the example is the rhomboideus. And then another one, we have the sphincter muscles. So sila naman yung parang ring-like since encircle an opening, sabi dito. So ring-like muscles sila that usually surround and control the opening and closing ng mga various na passages ng katawan ng animal. Like for example, yung mga yung cardiac sphincter doon sa esophagus. So that is one example para makontrol yung hindi pagbabackflow ng kinakain ng ruminants. Like more specifically pag uh, during rumination, pagkain ng animal, so yung cardiac sphincter doon sa esophagus at the lower part of the esophagus of the animal, didiretso doon sa rumen. However, in terms of rumination, yung cardiac sphincter within the esophagus, siya din yung usually nag-o-open. Okay? Siya din yung nag-o-open doon sa esophagus para mag-backflow naman yung kinakain ng ruminant para ma-regurgitate back to the from the reticulum back to the mouth. Okay? So that is one example for sphincter muscles. And then another one, we have the neutralizer or the conductor muscles. So sila naman yung nagpre-prevent ng unwanted movements. Okay? So they usually contract to counteract the actions of other muscles and help maintain precise control over a movement. So one example for that one is yung mga tail muscles sa mga baka. Lalong-lalo na, eto is usually pag, kumbaga yung baka, kumbaga madaming langaw. So yung swat niya, pag ano ng switch niya doon sa part ng katawan niya para mapalayo yung mga langaw, that is usually an example for that one. So yung mga muscles na nandoon, they usually help na ma-maintain yung tail position and ma-prevent yung involuntary movement. So they usually act as neutralizers. Okay? They ensure that the tail will remain steady during activities like, for example, grazing, mga ganun. Okay? Then another one, we have the mouth muscles in horses. Although yung mga horses natin, they do have a lot of facial muscles around sa mouth nila that usually allow them na makapag-perform ng mga movements nila. Yung mga neutralizer muscles in the facial region naman ng horses, usually they prevent unintended movements ng lips and mouth nila while yung kabayo is kumakain. Okay? So that is number 2. Then number 3, eye muscles in poultry. So merong complex na eye muscles na nag-aalaw sa mga chicken na makapag-control ng movement ng eyeball. So yung mga neutralizer muscles, they ensure that the bird can fixate its gaze on specific points and it could prevent involuntary eye movements that usually might disrupt their ability to detect predators or find food. Okay? And then another one is the jaw muscles in swine. Okay, ito naman for the swine, it's usually meron kasi silang strong na jaw muscles and usually it is used sa pagka-grind ng food nila. So yung etong mga neutralizer muscles in their jaw is usually tumutulong na mag-stabilize ng jaw movements and makapag-prevent ng involuntary na jaw movements during feeding, which could lead kapag kasi pag merong involuntary na jaw movements, lalong-lalo na pag kumakain yung mga animals natin, there is a possibility na mag-occur ng inefficient na mastication or injury within the jaw of the animal. Okay? Then we have another one, the hoof and leg muscles in horses. Usually yung mga horses kasi natin, they usually rely on precise na leg movements for activities nila. Like for example, in terms of walking, in terms of running, racing, mga ganun. So yung mga neutralizer muscles around the hoof and leg ng mga leg areas ng horses natin, it could prevent unwanted or excessive na movements. Okay? Then the wing muscles in poultry, like yung mga chicken and turkeys natin, yung mga wing muscles kasi nila, these are very essential sa pag-maintain ng balance and control during wing flapping. Okay? So tumutulong ito sa pag-stabilize naman ng wing position and mag-prevent ng unintended na wing movement na pwedeng makapag-disrupt sa balance or flight nila. Tail feathers in birds, eto hindi more on sa ano to sa mga sa chicken, but if you are familiar with peacock, ginagamit nila yung tail feathers nila na mag-display ng courtship na rituals. So yung mga neutralizer muscles doon sa tail feathers nagme-maintain or tumutulong na mag-maintain ng positioning ng feathers nila during display. Like for example, pag liligawan niya yung babae na peacock, so that is one. Okay? Then facial muscles in swine, so ganun lang din. Lalong-lalo na yung mga swine natin, they have this rooting habit. Okay? So it's usually para manipulate yung mga objects using their snout. So yung mga neutralizer muscles within the snout region, tumutulong na mag-control ng direction and pressure sa rooting habit ng mga animals natin para ma-prevent yung unintended na damage or excessive na pag-root ng mga baboy na to. Okay? Then we have another one, the phasic muscles. These are responsible for generating short bursts of high force and are often involved in dynamic movements. So these muscles are active during activities like running or jumping. So makikita ninyo dito, it's more on the hind legs or it's more on the legs of the animals, etong mga phasic muscles, kasi it's more on short bursts of high force. So like for example, number one, hind leg muscles in horses. Ano yung usual? Yung mga powerful muscles doon sa hind leg ng mga horses, we have yung gluteus, that is G as in Goya. So that is Gluteus. I forget na ilagay dito. Gluteus and then hamstring muscles. Okay, that is just the ham na pagkain, then it's string. Okay, it's string or yeah, string, hamstring muscles. They are considered as the phasic. So responsible ito sa pag-generate ng explosive na force during activities like for example, pag naggagalop yung mga horses natin, ayun, that is for the phasic muscles. And then we have the leg muscles in chicken. Ito naman is doon sa thigh part ng mga manok. It's usually used for short and intense na bursts ng pagtakbo or pag-jump. So these muscles is usually, kumbaga kung titignan ninyo, mabilis yung pag-escape nila. Like for example, if lalapitan ninyo yung mga chickens natin, mabilis silang tumakbo, mabilis silang mag-jump. It's because of these phasic leg muscles. Okay? Mabilis silang parang tumutulong ito na mag-allow sa chicken na makapag-engage in a brief na movement or quick na movement, but then it's full of force. Kasi kung titignan ninyo, mag-flap yung wings nila, then kumbaga magja-jump sila. So that is for the phasic leg muscles among the chicken. Okay, then we have here another one, the jaw muscles in cows. Meron silang powerful na jaw muscles, lalong-lalo na yung masseter. You will encounter that one later on. Usually that is being used sa pag-grind ng food. Okay? So nagge-generate ito ng strong na contraction during the mastication process para ma-allow yung baka na makapag-process ng lalong-lalo na yung mga forages natin, they are very tough. Okay, so yung jaw movements nila, yung jaw muscles nila, that is basically the phasic muscles. And then the tail muscles in sheep and goat, that is usually particularly pag mag-shoo away ng mga flies, that is for the tail muscles din. Parang they are responsible na nag-generate sila ng short bursts or forceful na contraction. Okay? Then another one, we have the hoof muscles in goats. Ito naman, meron silang strong muscles mainly on their hooves and then in their legs that usually enable them to jump and climb with agility. If you are familiar with the ibex, so eto, we have the phasic muscles. And then we have another one, the postural or tonic muscles. So these are designed for maintaining posture and stability. They provide constant low-level contractions to keep the body upright and stable, such as the muscles that support the spine. Okay? Number one dyan, we have the longissimus dorsi of the muscle in cattle. Okay? That is usually, it runs along the spine. So that is a postural muscle in cattle. So tumutulong ito na makapag maintain doon sa back ng animal and at the same time yung body posture by supporting the vertebral column. Okay? So parang stability lang during kumbaga grazing and standing of the animal. And then abdominal muscles in pigs, that is usually postural muscles then. So it's more on DJ panag-maintain DJ pig's body posture, especially when they are standing or if they are moving around. So etong continuous contraction ng mga postural muscle na to, it usually supports the abdominal region of the pigs and it will keep them stable. Back muscle in horses, we have here yung mga longissimus muscles then and then the multifidus muscles. Multi as in multimillionaire and then fidus, that is FIDUS, multifidus. Okay? So sumusupport din in terms of the vertebral column to. And then we have another one, the soleus muscles in chicken. So ito naman is responsible sa pag-support doon sa body weight ng animals natin. So they usually rely, yung mga chickens natin, they usually rely on their leg muscles, including the soleus, to maintain their posture and balance while standing and moving around. And then we have here another one, the back muscles in sheep. So yung mga paravertebral muscles doon sa back ng sheep, like for example, the longissimus dorsi, it will help in maintaining the animal's body posture and stability. And then another one, we have the pelvic stabilizing muscles sa mga goats. So meron silang postural muscles around the pelvic region, which is usually include the sacrocaudalis dorsalis muscle, which usually stabilizes naman to yung pelvic girdle and it maintains yung posture. Okay? And then we have the last one, the dorsal muscles in turkeys. So it's more on posture lang din to while if the animals are standing. Okay? So support lang din sa body weight ng mga to.